Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to William Ludwig about the Many Saints of Newark, which is going to be available October 1st. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's an exciting time. I mean, you shoot this movie, you find out it's going to be coming out, and it's right around the corner. How are you feeling right now?
I'm a little freaked out, to be honest. It's been a long ride, and I can't believe it's finally happening.
Absolutely. So, I mean, what's the reaction from your family and friends, when you're casted to play, young Tony Soprano, basically in a prequel, an origin story, I mean, of a very iconic character. What's going through the mind in the household of the Ludwig house?
Well, it was pretty crazy. I was just sitting down back in 2019 in February. I was just sitting down doing my math homework, and all of a sudden my mom comes in and she's got her phone recording and she has this envelope and she hands it to me and I'm like, I think I know what this is. And I open it up and it's like, congrats, you booked the effing Sopranos movie. You're playing Tony Soprano. And I started crying and it was amazing.
Absolutely. But we'll get into that. But for you, like acting, like how did that come to be for you? Like when did you decide that was something you want to do?
Right. Well, I got interested in acting since preschool because my best friend in preschool, he was doing commercials and he did this Halloween costume commercial once. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I asked my parents, could I do something like that? And they weren't so sure about the whole kid actor thing, but they knew I was interested in acting and I loved it a lot. Mm-hmm. And so they let me do camps and making movie camps. I did this camp one year, and the director of the camp asked me if I wanted to go audition for an agent, and we were like, oh, I mean, okay, might as well take this opportunity. And so I went out for the audition for the agent and they signed me. And then I started going on auditions. And that was sort of the beginning of it for me.
That's amazing. And, the film is coming out pretty soon. People are going to get a chance to see it. I'm sure there's a lot going on because, people are going to see from people reading about it and seeing it, this was a big cast. There's a lot of people you got to work with on this movie. What was it like working with this cast and crew and working on this film, William?
Well, working with people like Ray Liotta, who's this mobster legend, and Michael Gandolfini, who's so connected to this character and this whole story, and Alessandro Nivola, who's obviously the star of this movie. It was so amazing working with him and seeing how he worked with his character, and he was focused all the time on his emotion and how he was going to portray what he was doing. And working with Alan Taylor, the director, was so amazing because he found a way to bring everybody together.
Yep.
and figure out how they can work together best. And seeing all these creative minds is just so amazing, bringing this together and making this amazing project.
Absolutely. Well, there's always going to be learning experiences on a lot of projects. I'm curious to know what your learning experiences were like on this project specifically. What was it like working in terms of a learning experience with this one?
Well, I learned a lot from watching Alan Taylor, like I just had explained about how he brought everyone together. But I got this really interesting piece of advice from Ray Liotta, who I don't have very many scenes with, but one day he talked with me about how not to take yourself too seriously, because all you're doing is you're dressing up and you're putting some gel in your hair and you're playing pretend and you're playing this character. And I thought that was a really helpful piece of advice, and just to have fun, because this is an awesome, amazing job, and we're so lucky to be able to do something like this.
That's one way of looking at it, but the other way is like you're putting gel in your hair, or you're playing young Tony Soprano, right?
It's absolutely crazy. I can't believe I'm here.
It's awesome. Besides acting, I'm just always curious, like hobbies wise, other interests. What else are you into besides acting and storytelling?
Well, I'm a big tennis player right now. I'm going to go try out for my high school team. And I've been practicing a lot, and I'm also into video games. I'll play a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2, and recently I got into playing Arma 3 with my friends.
Yeah.
And it's super fun.
Absolutely. It's interesting as well too because, there was with the pandemic a lot of time to play video games and watch stuff and everything. I feel like video games we always like they were always popular, but William, I think the pandemic is just became way more
Just
popular. Yeah,
skyrocketed.
exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't think it can get more popular, but it did, right?
Exactly.
Which is awesome. I'm curious also about the research for this, because obviously you're casted to play young Tony Soprano. Did you instantly say that you were going to go back and watch The Sopranos? Was there a familiarity with The Sopranos before signing on to this? Like, I'm just curious about that aspect of things as well.
Right. So when I got the audition, it was Untitled New Jersey Project.
Yep.
Like we didn't have anything saying, but it did say Michael Gandolfini lookalike, and my parents had like read a few articles about how Michael got cast in this, and we were like, okay, so it's probably this.
Mhm.
And so my dad sat down with me, and we watched a few seasons, or sorry, a few episodes of
Yep.
The Sopranos, skipping past all the bada bing parts, obviously, and that was just for me to get a sense of how Tony acted in his mannerisms, like how he hunches his back a little bit, and it got me a little bit of a sense of an Italian accent.
Yep.
And then after I booked the job, my mom, my dad, and we all watched the first season of The Sopranos. Again, skipping past the bada bing parts, and then after that, we watched a few select episodes throughout the series,
Yeah,
just to
absolutely.
see the mannerisms again and to
Yeah.
get more of a sense of how Tony is. And then my dialect coach, Coley Calhoun, really helped me a lot with my accent. She's so amazing and so nice. She taught me how to roll my lips like this and how Tony kind of slurs with his accent. And she also helped me learn how to say the F word right. And so she had me go around my house against my parents' will, go around my house saying, for example, effing couch, effing chair, effing table, effing dog. and my parents were like, please stop. We're working. We have to do stuff. And I was like, I'm working too. Effing chair, effing table. And they're like, fine.
That's amazing. Without going into spoilers, though, I mean, you're playing Tony Soprano in the 60s. People are reading about that. What can you tell us about what to expect with young Tony Soprano without going into any spoilers?
That's a tough question because
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything for
We could
anyone.
just leave it at that,
Um,
I guess. I mean, it's just showing the
yeah.
origins. I mean, that's exciting. But is it crazy that people are going to be able to see it? Like, you've been talking about this probably around the house for a while. I mean, people are going to get a chance to see it. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh
pretty
yeah,
soon.
it's so crazy that this is finally happening after years. I'm so excited for everybody to see this, and it's not a Sopranos movie. It's more about Dicky Moltisanti and sort of how Tony grew up in this world and
Mhm.
how he became the mobster that he is in the show.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting how the roots origin stories can go. Like, you look at a lot of different origin stories, even with Marvel and everything. It's just interesting. There's so many roots like an origin story can go, and I guess like everyone has theories and stuff, and they just have to kind of wait and watch it to figure out what the root's gonna be. I find that, but the origin stories are hot right now. They're big. Like, people love them.
Yeah. I think this origin story particularly is super interesting
Yep.
because Tony as a kid is so innocent and he sort of is learning how the people around him are acting and he's taking that and putting it into himself, and you can see throughout the movie how he develops into more of a violent, scary person.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. And have you thought about when people get to watch the movie, like the Many Saints of Newark, when they get to watch it, what are you hoping they get out of it specifically? Have you thought about that yet?
Yeah, I have. I've thought about it a lot actually in the coming months. I honestly hope people enjoy it, and it's not, again, it's not a Sopranos movie. It's just an awesome mob movie, and you don't even have to watch the show to understand what's going on. And hopefully, it'll even make more Sopranos fans. I think a lot of people will really, really enjoy this movie and love it.
Absolutely. William, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me. Same here.
Yeah, absolutely. So people are going to be able to see it October 1st. It's finally out. The Many Saints of Newark, which is It's crazy we keep saying that, but it's just because I remember, it's funny. I remember when this project was announced. Like
Yeah.
before, you guys shot it before the trailers. Like I just remember the excitement around the announcement that they were making it.
Yeah.
And now it's finally coming out. Like that's just crazy to me, to be honest with you.
Easy. Yeah.
Which is awesome. And very quickly, where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything? Instagram?
You can follow me on Instagram at William _ William Ludwig _
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Be sure to check out William Ludwig as young Tony Soprano in the Many Saints of Newark, which is going to be available October 1st. Until next time, this is William Ludwig and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.